I'm Allison. I'm one of your prenatal yoga teachers here at the Little Yoga House, and I'm really happy to be able to record this video for you while I'm home with my kiddos and just provide you a little bit of care amidst all of this unknown that we're all feeling right now. So if you'll just get your mat out for me, and you notice I have 2 blocks, and if you're going to be practicing at home for a while, whether pregnant or not, maybe grab a couple of blocks on Amazon. These are Manduka blocks, but you can order any type of block there on Amazon. There's lots of different brands or non-brands, so whatever works for you. I also have a couple of Mexican blankets. Also can order these on Amazon for about 20 bucks, or just use one of your favorite throw blankets, and I'll show you how to fold it throughout our practice today. And lastly, I do have a bolster for practice today. If you don't have one, that's fine. This is a Hugger Mugger bolster. You can order from them, or also once again on Amazon. I recommend not ordering black because mine is covered with all of the fuzz from the wool blankets. It doesn't seem to matter how many times you wash them, this still happens. So just a little tip from yoga teacher for the day. If you don't have a bolster, no worries. Just maybe you could use a really heavy memory foam pillow, but always nice to have a bolster for your home practice as well. So let's go ahead and just settle on in. We'll take a couple of breaths together. I'm going to give you a few options. You can use your bolster if you have one, or your blankets to tip the hips forward, sitting in a seated Baddha Konasana or easy cross-legged pose, just to kind of ground yourself. Sitting, elevating the hips here is kind of nice. As you can see, mine's a little big and it leaves my hips lifted and my knees lifted. So I might grab one of my blankets here, just kind of see how that works. As I settle on in, rolling shoulders up, back, and down away from your ears. If you're comfortable with your eyes closed, go ahead and flutter your eyes closed and allow yourself to root down through your sits bones. So this might be an option where you start. If you have 2 blocks and your bolster and your blankets, you might want to start in a reclined Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined butterfly pose, and I will take you there now. So with your blocks, we'll create an L shape. And as you do that, put one block on its highest height. And you can play around with the heights of the block. This is its second highest height, and then you can also take it to the lower height here. So as you put your bolster on top, if I'm coming into a reclined position, I like to have my bolster here. And then I like to place a blanket right at the base. You're going to take your bottom all the way to the lower part of the bolster here, so then when you lie back, your low back will be completely supported. And a lot of times in pregnancy, it's nice to have a second set of blocks or 2 more bolsters to place underneath the arms. My arms just kind of end up floating in space otherwise. So here are your options. And then just allow yourself to relax. Let all the tiny muscles around your eyes start to soften. Whether you're seated or you're reclined, you might take a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly, and just to let all of the external noise start to filter out. Any of the chatter that's going on in the mind from what's going on in the world around you. If you have kiddos in the background, maybe you just try to close your eyes and allow yourself a couple of long, deep inhalations, encouraging the gaze to start to turn internal towards the breath. Take a nice long inhale, fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Open mouth, exhale. And you might just sigh it out and stay here for a couple of rounds of breath. On each inhalation, drawing more breath into the body. If there's pent-up energy, you might start to just move the prana to release those sticky, stale spots of energy that are pooling in the body. And maybe with another long, slow, dragging exhale, see if you can release those areas of tension or tightness as you drag, and let the exhale leave the body ever so slowly. I encourage you to stay here for several rounds of breath. however the time or your body will allow you to be here, maybe 3 to 5 rounds, several moments, just tuning in, tapping with the energy here in the body today. Noticing as you sit in stillness if you're able to drop inward or if the mind begins to wander. And if it does, maybe on your inhale, you tell yourself, I. On your exhale, am. Inhaling, I. Exhaling, am. And stay with that for several rounds of breath. And as we start to draw our awareness a bit more outward here, once again, rejoining together. We'll take one last final long inhale, fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Open mouth, exhale, fully let the energy and the still energy just fully release from the body here as you exhale and fully empty. You might roll to your left side mindfully here, keeping the eyes closed for a moment. Little fetal position as you rest on the side, on or off the bolster, just being really mindful of your props. You can keep your eyes closed or come to a soft gaze as you gently press yourself up to your easy seat. And we'll land here, hands at the heart center. Go ahead and just briskly rub your hands together, creating some heat. Maybe place them over your eyes or over your womb, over your belly button. And just send some of this warmth. Maybe you send it from your heart to your baby's heart as you create this connection here together as you practice. And right here in this moment, we'll take the sound of one Om together. Oming is great sound therapy for baby. It's also great practice as labor is not quiet. We make lots of noises as we're birthing, and just allowing that practice and telling yourself that it's okay to make noise. These low tones. Nice big inhale together. Fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Clearing exhale. Inhale to Om. And just gently blink your eyes open. You might roll your shoulders up and back and down away from your ears. And if you take my class often, you know I like to use Renegade Mama affirmation cards during my classes. So I'm just going to randomly pick one, and this will be our affirmation card that we might bring into practice with us today. So today's card says, my face is soft and relaxed. So I say it all the time during class and during births, that the muscles in your jaw are directly related to the muscles in your pelvic floor that you need to soften during birth. So a lot of times if you have a doula or your partner, something that you should always encourage is for them to continue to tell you, soften your hands, soften your face, soften your jaw. That duh face is what I was told years ago in one of my first birthing classes. Let's go ahead and just get started. I'm going to set the props off to the side. I will have them available to me here on the mat as we practice and flow together. I'm going to leave my mat here with my blanket on my mat and just start to create some gentle cat-cow movement here as you open the belly around the spine. And if you're further along in pregnancy, you might pause in an imprint position. Avoid dumping the belly too far. We don't want to create any pulling or tension on those muscles on the front side of the body, encouraging any diastasis, the separation of your abdominal muscles. So you might just pause here in an imprint position. Go ahead and take several rounds here, cat-cow, any organic movement here that works in your body as you wag your tail, round your spine, and just feel into what your body needs in this moment. This playlist is available on Spotify if you follow me, Allison Cline, and this playlist is the February playlist. So just taking some gentle cat-cow movements here, rounding and extending the spine. Move these blocks out of the way for now. As you exhale, take it back through child's pose. Bring your toe mounds to touch. Separate the knees. Round your spine as you come up. Just taking several rounds here. Gentle warming of the spine, rounding your spine, undulating forward and back. You might take a little bit of a sway in your back, just noticing how that feels in your body. Begin to pause here in child's pose. Separate your knees wide, big toe mounds to touch. Extend the fingers long. Begin to walk your fingertips towards the right any amount. If the head doesn't come on the floor, you can use a book or a block and gently rest your forehead as you open up. Feel the length here as you open and separate the ribs on the left side of your body, creating some more space for you to move and breathe more freely and for baby to move about. Nice big long inhale here. Fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Open mouth, exhale. And take it off to the other side as you tiptoe your hands to the right. Go ahead and take the block with you if you need it. Now letting the breath open, spiral that left body open here on the left side. Rib cage separates laterally as you reach to the left. Let the right side of the body open. Let the right hip fall back. Nice big inhale here. Fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Open mouth, exhale, release. And tiptoe the fingertips back, forward. Go ahead and round your spine. Shake it out here, hip circles. And begin to come to the tops of the kneecaps. Walk the hands out a little bit here. This will be our modified vinyasa for class. Notice how I hug baby close, like I'm giving baby a hug with my abdominal wall. Little chaturanga here as I lower. Press back up. Exhale, back, child's pose. You might stay here if you want a little bit more. Come with me forward, chaturanga, and press back up. Rounding your spine, child's pose. One more just like that. Draw yourself forward, draw the heart forward. Give baby a hug with the abdominal wall. Lower down, chaturanga. Press back. Child's pose for 3 breaths or downward facing dog. In down dog, remember you're breathing. You have lots of extra blood volume pumping through your body right now. Tuck your toes, make sure you're breathing so you don't start to get dizzy in any way. Rocking it side to side, walk your dog. Nod your head yes or no to release any tension. Come high on your toes, spread your feet mat width distance here. Exhale, drop your heels to the right. And come back through center, drop your heels to the left. Take this a couple of times. Back through center, high on the toes, off to the right. And high on the toes. And take it off to the left side. Look in between the thumbs. Take a little
bend your knees, top of the mat. You're gonna take the blocks with us here. Keep a nice bend in your knees, and then as you inhale, halfway lift, lengthening your spine. Exhale, fold any amount, legs wide to make room for baby. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, round in any amount. Inhale here, halfway lift. Wrap your abdominal muscles around baby here. Give baby a hug. Hands on the thighs. As you inhale, come up. Roll your shoulders back down away from your ears here. And as you roll the shoulders back down away from the ears, pick up all 10 toes, finding Tadasana and what feels right in your body. A little wider than normal here. Feet are hip width distance during pregnancy. And then as you inhale, sweep your arms high. Exhale, forward fold, bend it forward. Modified vinyasa, hands on the blocks. Inhale, find halfway lift, gazes out in front of you. Exhale, fold. Take one more like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, hands at the top of the thighs, flat back. Inhale, sweep the arms high. If at any time you get dizzy during pregnancy, don't take the hands above the heart. Let's take one more like that. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, dive it out, forward fold. Use the inhale to lengthen your breath here. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhaling, fold. This time on the fold, plant your hands. Hands can stay on or off the blocks. Step your right foot and your left back. You're gonna add that little modified vinyasa here as you exhale. Back through child's pose. Draw the heart forward on the inhale. Draw the low belly up. Chaturanga here. Exhale back either to child's pose or downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Tuck your toes. Continue to move the breath. You might shake it out. Nod your head yes or no. And then look between those thumbs. Bend your knees. Little walk to the top of your mat. Find halfway lift here, lengthening. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Hands to the top of the thighs. Back is flat. Come on up with me. Inhale, sweep arms high. Exhale, dive it out, forward fold. Lengthen here, inhale. Plant your hands. Step your right foot back and your left. Drop to your knees. Option for that modified vinyasa or straight to down dog or child's pose. Take it back. On the inhale, draw your heart forward. Exhale here, chaturanga. And take it up. Exhaling back, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes. Big long inhale here. Fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. And sigh it out, mama. Look in between your thumbs. Little walk feet to hands. Feet are hip width distance. Take your hands to the top of your thighs, round it on up, and come over to the wall with me here. I like to practice discomfort practice during our prenatal classes, as we know that laboring is uncomfortable. So it's a great time to see what your nervous system does. Do you fight or flight? Or can you use your breath to allow your face, your jaw to soften, and then inherently allow that pelvic floor to soften? Go deep inward here to that inner knowing. I'm going to ride the wave of the breath up and down just like you'd practice for a contraction. Of course, the sensation isn't going to be the same, but it's great practice just to see where the breath and the body leads you. So the block here, we're going to take it in between the thighs if you have one. And it's nice to just allow the pelvis to stay neutral, and the block helps by hugging in. So we're going to take the feet down towards the floor, right angle here. Make sure your feet are on your mat. And then if the back is arching away from the wall, a little pelvic tilt here. And we're going to press the low back firmly into the wall. And I'll stay here with you. We might close our eyes. Or you come back to that breath. I am. Noticing the natural rise and fall of your chest. And yes, we might be gripping with our quads, but notice if you're gripping with your hands. See if you can allow them to relax. If you're gripping with the jaw. If you feel tension here, you might give yourself a little massage. Check back in with that affirmation. My face is soft and relaxed. And simply breathe. Long inhale, ride the wave of your breath up. And just like a wave crashing into shore, exhale. And bring the breath right back down the body, grounding you. Long inhale. And full exhale. One more just like that. Fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. And release the breath. Real slow and controlled. Remove that block. You're going to take yourself back up the wall. And let your hands, just little empty coat sleeves, I like to call it, like you're a kid with your hands inside your shirt, side to side. Release your low back. And while we're at the wall here, we'll do a little wall clock. This is really great for those pectoral muscles. Feels wonderful postpartum when you're constantly hunching and holding babies, but it also feels great right now as well. So you're going to tack your hand up straight up the wall here that you have at 12 o'clock. And then notice if your back arches any amount here. We're going to create that same hug, like you're hugging baby here with the abdominals. And just simply start to slowly walk that hand behind you. I'm going to bring it all the way down to 6 o'clock. Tiptoeing your fingertips down. Pausing where it feels good to pause and marinate. Or if you feel any tension, make sure you back off. Little discomfort is okay, but we don't want to be in pain. As you walk your fingertips all the way down the wall, you're going to keep that same hand here on the wall and grounding now through your right foot, taking tree pose, using a little bit of a balance practice, finding that balance between our effort and our ease here. That's what motherhood's all about, finding our balance. So we're going to keep our hips nice and square. Tree pose is also a hip opener. So as you lift the foot up off the floor, notice if you fall into the wall and press your hips strong and steady. And you're going to press your foot either to the floor, to your calf here, avoiding that knee joint, or all the way up. So options here as I come forward straight. Calf, we're avoiding right here. Don't press right here. Or maybe you help it and you take it higher, whatever's in your practice still, mama. And go ahead and use that wall for support. And find your drishti here. Find your focal point. And maybe a focal point is something you use in your birth. Or maybe it's an image. You might lift your arms, use that hand the hand on the wall for support at any time. Maybe you give yourself a hug. Hug gets oxytocin naturally flowing in the body. One more breath here, mama. And go ahead and release the hands, roll the shoulders up towards the ears. And that foot that was up, go ahead and take a little figure 4 in your hip joint, releasing the hip. And we'll take a downward facing dog in between against the wall. Step your feet really wide as you do this. Spread the fingers really wide for support. Knees can be bent or straight, you choose. And during your labor, this is a really great time for your partner or your doula. Great position to be in, and for them to give you hip squeezes or use that rebozo scarf and wrap it around your hips, or a sheet and give you a nice tight hug. Counter pressure here feels really fantastic when you're birthing. So we'll take our fingers wide against the wall here and just find a downward facing dog. So on the side, it's going to look like this, hands against the wall, and step it out. Rounding the spine, using the hands for support to bring yourself back up. We'll take that wall clock on the other side now. Remember to give baby that nice gentle hug to avoid the deep arch in the back that sometimes happens. And begin to walk your fingertips, wall clocking here. Step away from the wall any amount if that's what you need this afternoon. And start to just open up here. Notice if you start to hold any tension in your face, come back to that mantra. My face is soft and relaxed. Or that affirmation. Just real slow, walking hands down the wall. When you're ready, we'll take tree pose on the opposite side. Go ahead and use your hand here for balance if you need it. Pick up your opposite foot and go ahead and begin to lift it up and find your place here. Remembering here to stand nice and tall. Continue to wrap your body around baby here. Maybe foot's at the floor, the ankle, the calf, or maybe bring it all the way up to the inner thigh. So once again, from the front here, I'm going to stay nice and balanced with my hips, opening through the hip surface here, and then rooting down and finding that grounding here as I root down all the way from my feet here, spreading my feet wide, rooting down all four corners of my feet. I might notice if my shoulders creep up any amount. Continue to wrap baby here as I envision those muscles here staying nice and tightly knit, but supple at the same time, if that makes any sense. I might take a hand on my heart, hand on my belly. Or take a different variation, or the same one you did on the other side. If you did that hug, maybe you cross the opposite hand on top. And just breathe here. In these moments when things seem hard, or these moments of silence where our mind starts to wander, maybe you envision that first moment that your baby gets laid on your belly, on your chest. And that moment that will be just in your mind for the rest of your life, meeting your baby for the first time, and that's what gets you through when things seem unbearable and hard. Take a big inhale with me, fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. And let that breath go. And we'll release the hand. You might shake it out a little bit here. Be mindful of your props. Maybe we'll do that figure 8 stretch here in the hips, rolling the joint out. Perhaps it's another downward facing dog with the wall that's behind you. We'll just spread the fingers wide here and let the tension, you might find a little rock, a little roll. Gently press yourself away from the wall, roll your shoulders back and down away from the ears. We're going to come into a standing series. I'm going to remove my blankets, if you have any, from your mat so you don't trip over them. You don't want to create any type of hazard for falling while we're practicing. So I'm going to take my blocks with me to the top of my mat here once again. And finding Tadasana pose. Roll your shoulders up and back and down away from your ears, really grounding yourself here. We're going to step back to a warrior 1. So go ahead and step back with your right foot. Hips stay square here in warrior 1 as we step back. Back foot turns out to a 45. I like to give myself a little self-adjustment here. As you inhale, take your arms up. And maybe you open up in goal post. Continue to draw the low belly in. Inhale, taking arms high. Exhale, find a goal post here. Inhaling up. And on your next exhale, we're going to open up to a warrior 2. On your warrior 2, find the stance that works for you and your hips right now. You may take a little micro bend in your elbows. Let those shoulders shimmy back and down away from your ears. And maybe we pause here. Draw your hands into your heart. Anything that isn't serving you in this moment, you might take a minute to acknowledge it and press it away. Inhale, drawing your hands in. And exhale, press it away. And inhale, draw the hands in. And press it away. Straighten that front leg. Reverse triangle, reach back, open up the front side of your body. Back hand slides down that back leg for support. And bring it back to warrior two. As we come into triangle pose, I like to come into triangle pose here from warrior two with that knee bent. It's a little bit gentler on your hip girdle here, keeping everything nice and neutral. So as you come in, take your block if you have one. You keep that front knee bent. Then we're going to find the shift in the hips here. The front knee might stay bent, or you might begin to straighten, create a little micro bend here. And my hips are going to roll open, bottom ribs roll under. In triangle pose, this is where I land today. My gaze might go up if it feels okay on my neck or my cervical spine, or maybe it stays down. During pregnancy is surely the time to really listen to your body and do what's best for you in this moment. And gently bend through that front knee here once again. Find warrior two. And 5-pointed star. 5-pointed star, your knees and your toes turn out. Spread your fingers really wide. You might pick up all 10 toes, press them back down into the earth. Maybe we stay here for a moment, taking up space. What does it feel like when all eyes are on you and you take up space? For some of us, maybe it's no big deal. For others, this might leave you feeling really vulnerable. So as you lean into that, you might notice what comes up. As you exhale here, goddess squat, knees and toes turn out, tailbone straight to the floor here. So if you look from the side, I'm being really careful that my bum isn't sticking out. I'm going to tuck it under, take my tailbone straight to the floor. Inhale up, exhale, bring it down. If you're building heat at this point, inhale up. On the exhale, open your mouth, sigh it out. Inhaling up. Exhale, bring it down. Pause here with me. Little gentle rock, side to side, hand on the heart, hand on the belly. And you might stay here. Or maybe we'll take this to a lower malasana squat. If you know you have a breech baby and you're further along, like 35 weeks or more, I would avoid taking those low malasana squats. You don't want to encourage baby to nestle head down in the pelvis. Or excuse me, feet down. We want them head down. Big inhale here, big plie squat. On your exhale, I'm going to heel toe my feet in, come to my low squat. Round the spine and come up real slow, one vertebra at a time. Inhale up. Exhale, bring it down real slow. And round my spine as they bring it up. Looks like this from the side. Notice how my heart is lifted. Round here. Real slow and controlled. And after you've taken as many as you like here, feel free to hang out in your malasana squat nice and low. You've got these blocks. You can always place a block underneath your bottom and sit back. And as we come further to the end of our pregnancy journey, some of us, it's more helpful even to turn the feet inward, rolling the heads of the femur bones, the top of the femur, the top of the thigh bone inward, actually helps open up the pelvis further. So we'll come into the low squat, hang out here. If this is one of those places your heels are up off the floor and it's really uncomfortable, you can stay in that higher goddess squat, or you have a blanket, hopefully next to you, and you can roll the blanket any amount here. Place the blanket on your mat underneath your heels to help you feel more supported if the heels are not coming towards the floor. Take a big inhale here with me. Exhale, let it go. You're going to go ahead and let yourself come to the back of your mat now. You're going to come to all fours, and after all those nice wide hip openers, those juicy hip openers, start to round your hips here, a little helicopter here through the hips. Taking them in both directions. Maybe a little figure 8. Just noticing what feels good and then leaving behind what doesn't. Go ahead and tuck your toes. You might find downward facing dog. Long in-breath here. Fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Drop your knees here. If you want a vinyasa, take it or hang out in child's pose, our little modified vinyasa here. Come forward. Wrap yourself, hug baby close as you lower. And press right back up. I'm gonna lift the toes. Take a slow walk to the top of your mat. Grab your blocks as you take them to the other side with you. Find halfway lift here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Inhale, up. Hands to your heart. And we'll take that same series here, other side. This time leaving your right foot forward. Find your warrior 1 here. So the hips, sometimes they spin open. Little self-adjustment. If you feel like you're falling to one side, train track your feet. Walk that front foot out a little bit further. Adjust your stance any way that feels right in your body. As you inhale, arms come high, hug low belly in. Goalpost those arms. Inhale, up. Exhale, goalpost the arms. Inhaling up. And last one here, goalpost the arms. Sweep it high on the inhale. And begin to cartwheel the hands open to your warrior 2, now opposite side. You might take that micro bend in your elbows here. Let your shoulders shimmy back down away from your ears. We'll pause here once again, gathering in that energy. Gather in the energy for self-care, positivity. As you exhale, press away any of the negative thoughts. Inhale, gathering strength from those that birthed before you, those that are birthed with you, and those that will come after you. Take a reverse triangle, straighten that front leg, reach back. Bend through your front knee back to warrior 2. Opening up. Take your hand here to the block. You can stay here in a modified side angle, or if you'd like to take triangle pose, straighten that front leg, shift your hips back, notice the shift, and open up. Little micro bend in that front knee, and then the neck lands wherever you'd like the neck to land. Maybe a little gentle sway if you feel tightness starting to ignite in that jaw. Let's continue to breathe here. Bend that front knee. Come back to your warrior 2. 5 pointed star on the opposite side, knees and toes out as you exhale, lower to your goddess squat. Inhale up. Exhale, goddess squat. Inhaling up. And goddess squat. Inhale here. Really feeling the divine power of this goddess squat, rooting down through those feet. Lifting your heart, maybe hand to the heart, hand to the belly. And feel the divine feminine power here. Your body, this vehicle, you get to bring a life earth side. I've done it 3 times, and if you take my class, I tell you all the time, it still blows my mind what our bodies are able to do. Nice big inhale here, sweep it up. Exhale, hands to the heart. A little different on this side. Heel toe your feet so they're parallel. You have your blocks in front of you. We're going to come down, back is nice and flat. And with a flat back, you turn to the side, you'll see the back stays nice and flat here. Got my block here in front of me if I need it. Find a little halfway lift, a little up dog here with the upper body. Hand on the block, open it up. Twists here in the upper body. Open twisting is safe. During pregnancy, we just avoid those slow, closed, crossed body twists. Hands to the other side, opening up. Feel the mid-back, upper back open. And Let your hand come to the floor. I'm going to release that block. Take the feet to the mat. We'll come to another discomfort practice here. Tuck your toes. And if this starts to talk to you right away, that's normal. I hear that a lot. You can always place a blanket roll here underneath your heels if you need some support. But I ask you just to bear with me as long as you can here. Roll your shoulders up. Palms might land on your lap here. If you need grounding, maybe they're up to receive some energy. Maybe one of each. Perhaps you close your eyes and you go back to that imagery that we've gone to. This one here, you ride the wave of your breath up. And on your exhale, as the wave crashes into shore, you envision your baby. Maybe your baby's on the shoreline. It's a great visual to take with you into your labor. Inhaling here as you ride the wave of your breath up. Exhale, the wave crashes you into shore, this downward motion that you'll feel during your birth, bringing you closer to your baby. The mind wanders, that I on the inhale, am on the exhale, I am. One more full round of breath here. Allow your belly, your rib cage, your chest to fill up, your face, your jaw, your hands, your shoulders to soften and fully empty. Take the hands, interlace the hands, press them away. You might lean back, find a little cat back here, opening up. Inhale, press up. Round your spine, let your palms come towards you here. Now round back. Inhale, press the grip away as you lift and come up. And round your spine here. And press up. And round your spine. Final one here, remove that block or blanket if you used it. Spread the fingers wide. Give your feet a nice tap on the mat, releasing the tension here that builds up in the fascia of the feet. You might take one last final downward facing dog. Press up. Go ahead and have a seat on the mat. Step your feet nice and wide. We're going to drop the knees right and left here. Right and left. So a few options here for some hip opening poses as we start to go to the more restorative part of our practice. If you do have blocks or even a couple of books, you can stack them up here. I'm going to put them on their highest height. And then you'll take your bolster or your memory foam pillow. And if you need if you have a pillow that's not as hard as the bolsters, you'll walk your blocks or your books or whatever you're using here a little closer together so it supports it in the middle so it stays nice and firm. And I'm going to place my bolster on top of the blocks here to support my upper body. So you might come into a fire logs pose here, and in fire logs you're going to stack your feet flexed at the ankle on top of the knee on the other side. And if you need a little support under that back knee, the knee that's lifted here, mine happens to be the back knee, you might roll up your blanket or have a pillow. And I'll place that for support underneath my knee and my outer thigh on that side. And as I shimmy my hips back, keeping some length in my spine, leaving lots of space for baby here, we'll begin to lean forward. And we'll stay here for several moments. You might stay here 2 to 3 to 5 minutes even. And I'll cue you to turn your cheek away, side to side. choose to stay here. If pigeon pose is still working for you in your body, a couple of different options for pigeon. You have your blocks, maybe. If not, you have a blanket or a pillow at home. So here you might take the blanket, and depending on how far along you are, you can adjust this and just kind of work with your body. Press pause on the video. It's nice when it's recorded. You can pause it and stay as long as you'd like. Go ahead and step your right foot forward. We're going to untuck the back toes, square off the hips here. Walk that front shin forward any amount. Maybe you come here. And then if you have your pillows built up in front of you, or your blocks, or your bolster, you might place your bolster here in front of you. Leave plenty of space for baby and for your belly. Then you'll start to soften over. So if you've landed here, you were in that first one, take a nice big long inhale with me. Fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Check in with that jaw, make sure it's soft. And as you exhale, go ahead and turn your opposite cheek to the other side. Notice if you have any tension starting to form in your hands, your face, your jaw. As you exhale, let all those tiny muscles around your eyes soften. Take one more full inhalation here with me. Nice long exhale. Gently press yourself up. And then we'll remove those props. Depending on where you're at, if you were in that fire logs, maybe you take that same windshield wiper with your knees side to side that we took on the other side. If you're still comfortable in downward facing dog, maybe you take downward facing dog, that knee that was forward, go ahead and take it up. Take some movement here in your knee, maybe a figure eight, some circles. Point and flex the foot, the ankle a couple of times. Perhaps it's here all fours and you circle it out. Go ahead and have a seat. We'll repeat that variation on the opposite side. So if you're coming into fire logs, take your opposite leg on top. Flex through that foot that's on top and allow it to rest on your knee. And then we'll create here a little support for that knee that's lifted on top if you need it. And we'll start to take ourselves forward here. Walk your sits bones back any amount. And start to drape yourself over. Feel free to press pause on the video here and pause for 3 to 5 or however many minutes your body would like you to stay on that side. Or perhaps you come into our pigeon pose like we did on the opposite side if you're not taking fire logs, or maybe you have time to do both variations, and that's fantastic. So I'll come through on the opposite side. If you liked the blanket roll underneath you, go with that. Maybe the blanket roll underneath you isn't working. You might take it into a rectangular shape here. Bring that left foot forward this time. Untuck your back toe. You may or may not need the blanket. We'll walk that shin forward parallel to the mat any amount. keeping those hips nice and square, and then start to give yourself space to be supported by your bolster, leaving space for your belly. No pressure on your belly or your baby here. And go ahead and just find yourself cheek on the mat, relaxing down here, checking in with your face, noticing if it's soft. And if you start to feel like your mind is watering and that chatter is starting to come back in, come back to our inhale, I. Exhale, am. I am. If you've pressed pause, or if you're staying here with me, nice big long inhale. As you exhale, turn your opposite cheek to allow it to rest on the bolster for another 2 to 3 minutes, or however long you'd like to stay here. Take one more inhale here, allowing my body to expand, moving the prana throughout, letting it feel into those sticky spots into my body, releasing any pent-up energy. Nice big exhale. And gently press yourself up. And once again, come to all fours or downward facing dog. Remove your props here, circle it out. You might tuck your toes for down dog on this side. Open up the hip any amount. Circle the knee. Flex and point. Anything that feels right in your body. Or that seated windshield wiper that we've done several times with the feet wide enough. Make space for your belly and drop your knees to the right. It might feel good to pause. Drop your knees to the left. Maybe you bring your knees in and just give yourself a little gentle massage on your glutes. Sometimes it feels good, just releasing some of that fascia. Make sure you're not doing any core work here. So feet on the floor, heels on the floor. No ab work during this practice here today. You get to decide with your practitioner if ab work is still something that you feel is right for you during pregnancy. That's a topic for another day. Go ahead and take it off to the other side. Maybe you'll roll into those hips. And we're going to start to set up for Shavasana. If there's any last final movements that you need in your body, take them here. You're the expert of your own body and you know yourself better than I am. Maybe you need one more seated cat-cow as you round and extend the spine. Maybe opening the side body here. Anything that feels right in your body in this moment. Feel free to take it. If you're still comfortable on your back and you want any shapes in the back, take those here and now. Usually say around 15 to 20 weeks for Shavasana, you should start to elevate yourself or go to your left side. But once again, that's really individualized to anybody's body. We just want to make sure if we're laying on our backs, if you feel any lightheadedness or dizziness, that you want to flip to your left side and rest there. So your options for Shavasana today, we'll do a side lying left side, or you can take that same reclined Supta Baddha Konasana. And if you have a blanket, I really like to do a blanket support for this one. So we'll take our blocks. Make that L shape here once again, deciding where you'd like your blocks to be. Taking your bolster, and And like I said earlier, I like the blanket underneath here to give my tailbone and my backside some support. So I use one folded rectangular blanket here. I'm going to seat my bottom right up next to the back here of my bolster. And then open your blanket. So we're going to fold it so it's nice and long as you open the blanket. And then just create yourself a nice long roll. And as we do this, the feet come into a butterfly shape, feet together, soles of the feet together. And then the blanket's going to go on top of the feet and just simply wrap around, giving yourself a little gentle tug. So from the side, it's going to look like this. I'm going to shimmy my backside down. And just allow the support of the blanket to support the outside edges of my legs, and then allow my hands to relax, my face to relax. If you have a ponytail in, this is where I like to go ahead and let it go, let it out. And we'll take about 5 minutes here or so to just let the benefits of your practice wash over you here in this moment. So if you've chosen reclined Supta Baddha Konasana, or if you're still comfortable on your back, you might stay right here for the next 5 minutes or so, or whatever your time frame allows for you. Or perhaps we'll end in side lying Shavasana on your left side. So I'll set you up here with a couple of blankets underneath your head. Or pillows, whatever you have available to you at your house. Need a blanket folding assistant when we do these restorative poses. So we'll come here, and then I like to have one just for more support on my hip left on the floor. Depends on where you're practicing, I guess, or how thick your mat is. I'm going to actually set the bolster or a pillow up here. And then the bolster is going to come in between my thighs, or maybe a pillow, and then a block here. So I want the same height where my ankle, my knee joint, and my hip are all on the same plane. So when you set yourself up, I'm going to come to this side and be completely on my side. This bolster is kind of large. And I'll come here. If you need support under your belly, feel free to take a blanket roll under your belly. I'm going to take this block here. I've got this block here for my arm to rest on. Or even I like to take another bolster if you have one available to you, or a pillow, and just allow your arm to drape over it. And we'll rest here, like I said, for about 5 minutes or so. Feel free to pause. Find that playlist on Spotify, Allison Cline, C-L-I-N-E. And go ahead and just allow yourself to fall deep into rest, into meditation here, Mama, for the next 5 to 7 minutes. Ready for me to guide you out. Begin to start deepening your breath here once again. You might just first start by using your thumb to draw circles on each fingertip. If you're in your reclined Supta Baddha Konasana, use your hands to draw your knees back inward. Take the blanket off to the side. If you're on your side here, just slow movements here, rotating your wrists, your ankles. Press the bolster away. Full body stretch here on the side. If you're comfortable on the back, you might roll to the back for a full body stretch. And gently roll to that left side. Slowly press yourself up with very little effort and ease. Keep your eyes closed or come back to that soft gaze. And we'll end here full circle in a seated shape together. You may take a hand on your heart, a hand on your belly here once again. And allow yourself to pause here with me with your eyes closed. And maybe here in this moment we find one thing that we're grateful for. And with your eyes closed, we close here together. Birth is an opportunity to transcend, to rise above what we're accustomed to reach deeper inside ourselves than we're familiar with, and to see not only what we're truly made of, but the strength we can access in and through birth. This was Marcy McCarty. With your hands at your heart, hand on your belly, take a big, full, clearing in-breath with me here. Fill up your belly, your rib cage, your chest. Exhale, let it go. Take your hands to your heart. It's right here in this moment that the light that shines, that resides within me, the love, the mama in me, sees and shines to the light, the love, the mama in each of you. In this space, we are one. Namaste. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through practice today. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can follow me on Instagram, infinity_yoga_ATX, or you can email me at Allison, Allison, Cline, Cline, @infinityyoga.com. And I'm here for you. I'm still working as a doula. I'm working virtually, meeting with clients on a case-to-case basis. If you need support, please reach out. Pregnancy can be a very isolating time. And when we're forced to step away from our mama village, it's even harder. So please reach out or continue to reach out to the village that you have or the support people that you've grown into during this time. You can FaceTime. We have these virtual things that are so wonderful during these times that keep us all connected even when we can't sit in circle with one another. So if there's anything I can do for you, please reach out. Continue to practice with us. I know your teachers are working hard. Bear with us. A lot of us have kiddos at home, myself included. You might have seen me at one point give my child the "don't come out here yet" so I can finish up this video for you. Namaste, ladies. Thank you for being here with me, and I hope that you have a blessed day.